Hello, I'm Jim McClean.
And I'm Adam Neeson.
Welcome to the latest episode of the NIC.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'll be back.
I'll have what she's having. I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Here's looking at you, kid.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello, Adam. This is technically take two of our attempt to record because I'm down in Oma in the sticks and I had some problems with dogs. My little dog is being a little bollocks and he won't share his treats. So we had to stop the previous recording because he just started barking. He got so excited when we said Carol Vorderman was going to be on the episode. We have a packed show this week. We have Carol Vorderman. We're going to be talking about Primate. We're going to be talking about Drag Me to Hell because Sam Raimi's new film is going to be out next week. Very excited about that. And I'm going to also be speaking with Junko Takakawa about the Japan Foundation touring film programme. Going to be across the UK and even here in Belfast, QFT. There's even a couple of horror films, Adam, as well. So, we'll talk about that in a minute. Literally, Adam, as we record, let's just drop really sad news, genuinely sad news, that Catherine O'Hara, star of Home Alone, Beetlejuice, there will be people who will know her from Schitt's Creek, has sadly passed away. 71, I think. Really, really sad. I absolutely adored her as a performer and just always someone that was really funny and insightful when you hear her on interviews. So I haven't had time to process it, and I think we will do a proper pod at some point where we talk about some of her films, but just really, it's 2026, not the best way to start. Really sad.
Yeah, like a lot of her great stuff is with Christopher Guest, with Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman. She just was one of those actresses that could do both. She could do for growing up for us, it was like she was the mum figure in Home Alone, and then the older you got, she sort of became like she gladly teamed up with Eugene Levy a lot because they shared the same sensibility. She was that awkward older woman who sort of had a hint of desperation behind the eyes, which always made her funny. I would recommend probably lesser known Scorsese movie, but she's fantastic in After Hours.
Oh, yeah. Of course she is. Forgot about that film, actually. That's definitely, if you're looking for a deep cut, because it's January, you probably don't want to watch Home Alone again, or Home Alone 2. You've got a reason you can hold off on that. Beetlejuice, yes, any time of the year you can watch Beetlejuice. I'm not a fan of Beetlejuice. I know the lovely Therese Ray adores it, but not for me. But yeah, no, really, really sad to say. We will do a proper pod when we've had a bit of time to kind of process. We'll get the likes of Therese or maybe even Victoria on to kind of talk about that a wee bit. But yeah, as I say, just would be remiss of us not to mention it as we record. And also this week we've had both the Oscars now and the BAFTAs. Sinners now has the new record, 16 nominations. I do fear I don't think it's going to come home as 16. I think there's a few, I think, where I definitely could see Sinners picking up, but I don't think it'll be in the big categories. I think, I don't know, have you seen Hamlet yet? Have we discussed it?
Not yet. It's one of those heavy subject films that I think I'm going to have to wait until closer to the Oscars to dive into, because January has already been a bit sad. I've put my pants down.
Yeah, I like Hamlet. I don't love Hamlet. I don't, in the sense that Jessie Buckley is amazing, and I think she's going to walk the Oscars. I haven't seen haven't seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I haven't seen that, so I can't really judge. Although when I look at the trailer, it reminds me a bit of Jennifer Aniston when she did Cake, that kind of thing. But Jessie Buckley is just, she's just a force of nature in that film. My gripe is when you've got an Oscar-winning director in Chloe Zhao, you've got a good author, Maggie O'Farrell, who wrote the book that the film's based on, he's then working with Chloe Zhao in adapting the screenplay. You've got Paul Balihonis, Mescal, snubbed by the Oscars, weirdly in the supporting actor category, which is weird, but I guess that's a studio thing. But he is up for the BAFTAs, snubbed for the Oscars. But when you've got good performers, good director, and at the end, and I don't want to get stuck into a review on it, it just tries really hard to go full Marley and me. And it's like, if you don't cry at this, you're a bad person. And you don't need that. You've just had Jessie Buckley, who can just sit in front of the camera and with her eyes and just reactions, just can get that same response. So that's my gripe with it. I think it's led the way. I think it's the most nominated film at the BAFTAs for a female director. As I say, I think Jessie Buckley, Hamlet will do well at the BAFTAs. I don't think it's going to do well other than Best Actress, I think, for Jessie Buckley for the Oscars. But yeah, some interesting choices for both. We saw, what's her name for Weapons? Everyone's creepy aunt. She's up for Best Supporting. I would love to see that. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, with Best Picture, I would want Sentimental Values to win. I think One Battle After Another will probably take it. I think Sinners won't walk away with the most awards, but I can definitely see Michael B. Jordan winning the Oscar for Best Performance. Yeah, it's like the category, it's sort of slanted more towards Chalamet, her friend Timothée, but I think it's sort of Michael B. Jordan is a bit of a favourite around Hollywood, that he could swing it to win it this year.
I love Michael B. Jordan, and my wife loves Michael B. Jordan for different reasons. And the fact that in Sinners you get not one but two Michael B. Jordans. Which performance is he going to get the Oscar for if he does? But I just think it's that old cliche Academy thing. I think it's Timothée's time. I don't know. I mean, I do love Michael B. Jordan. Part of me thinks is Sinners getting recognition for what it's done in its nominations, but maybe not in its wins. But possibly, I think it's up for Best Original Screenplay in that. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of categories. I think I was talking about this in our little WhatsApp group. I think I remember reading this stat somewhere. So Hamlet, I think, was one of the favourites for Best Picture, but no Best Picture film has ever won the Oscar that year when it hasn't been up in the editing category. So I think it's Paul Thomas Anderson's year in terms of the biggies, and I'll be honest, rightfully so. I mean, I love that film. It and Weapons, probably of some of the films I watched near the end of last year, some of the few I've actually rewatched. Mm-hmm. And I actually rewatched Weapons over Christmas, and I was like, I forgot how good this is. And yeah, the supporting actor category, I think someone from One Battle After Another is taking that home. I just can't call it. Can Benicio and Sean Penn just go up and share it? Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, and moving away, because I know we've got loads to try to talk about, and we've had the kind of cock up on my end where we've had to start this record twice because of barking dogs. You were talking about your love for all things Saw.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so it came out this week that James Wan and Lee Whannell are sort of teaming up again to sort of right the wrongs of the Saw franchise, and Wan is back directing.
How many wrongs, Adam? How many odd wrongs are they going to try and right? Other than the greatest right of all time, when they went, fuck digital de-aging, we're just going to put our main villain and put a cap on him and make him wear it backwards. He's a young hipper-hopper.
I think, as much as I love the franchise, it hasn't really been on the right path since 3. Well, yeah. As soon as fucking Mr. Creamy died, that was sort of it. And I don't think, because they sort of cancelled, well, so they said, they cancelled Saw 11 because, what do you call him, plays John Kramer? your man.
Niles. Niles.
Niles from Frasier couldn't reprise his role as John Kramer, so so I think with James Wan and Lee Winnell back, like, do you just reboot the franchise? Do you just start again? Do you just with a younger actor?
Do you know what was one of the big disappointments? In the sense that I thought there was something there, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Spiral?
Yes.
The kind of Chris Rock kind of pseudo kind of sequel kind of reboot of that franchise. And you were like, oh, there was an interesting choice or interesting ideas, and it was just a big pile of shit.
Jim, it was from the book of Saw.
Yeah.
Like, it's a franchise that it has in common with Hellraiser, where they sort of had scripts for different movies and then retrofitted them into making a Saw sequel, and that's been since Saw 2. So realistically, you can't get any worse from, like, Saw X was fine, but, like, you can't get any worse. Although, James Wan, if you want to prove me wrong, go ahead. I'll still watch it.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it's got our money before we've seen it. So yeah, so I think we'll move on. And as we said there in the rambly introduction, earlier this week, I got a chance to speak with the lovely Carol Vorderman. And for anyone outside of the UK, Carol Vorderman, presenter here in the UK, was famous for working on Countdown. Very clever lady, great with Maz, great with, as I say, very clever lady. And she has kind of went off now. She's done a lot of radio since then. I know she's a regular columnist on This Morning, etc. My mum will know her. My mum was very excited when I said, Mum, I'm talking to Carol Vorderman. And she talked about how she wanted to reclaim the idea of MILF. Everybody knows what that means. Everyone knows. So on that note, here's my interview with the lovely Carol Vorderman. But before that, let's play a clip of the MILF of MILFs, the lovely Jennifer Coolidge in American Pie.
Are you lost?
Stifler's mom. No, not lost. Just, taking the tour. Hey, thank you for letting us have this wonderful party.
As if there was an alternative in the matter. So you enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
Oh, no date. It was a bathroom incident.
Pardon me?
Never mind. You have anything to drink?
I believe the kegs are upstairs.
That is what the Cretans drink. I'm talking about alcohol, liquor, the good stuff.
All right. I got some scotch.
Single malt?
Aged 18 years. The way I like it.
I am delighted to say now that I'm joined by the lovely Carol Vorderman. And Carol, we've just played a clip of American Pie, a little slice of cult American cinema. And we are talking about a phrase that I guess was made popular by that film, particularly for Jennifer Coolidge. And as I said to you just before I started to record, wake me from this fever dream when I never thought I would be discussing this subject with Carol Vorderman. But we are talking about your attempt and your campaign to reclaim the term MILF. We don't need to go more details. It is just really mothers we would like to be friends with. But, Carol...
well done, Jim, for that.
Yes, there we go. That is kind of about as much as I'm going to go.
Meaning itself to you across the radio.
Yes, I think other people can fill in the blanks on that. Carol, tell us a little bit about this campaign and why you want to reclaim the term MILF.
Yeah, well, it's about redefining it, really. So I'm now 65 and began in television when I was 21. So I've been, around for a very long time. And my generation of women, we're really the first generation of women en masse to try to break down the glass ceilings. And that's thanks to the soldiers who came before us, really.
Yeah.
We stand on the shoulders of giants, as the lionesses often say. And they're right. And so what I have had through my life, being fairly high profile, is basically a lot of abuse, where I have tried to challenge the norms in society. So, for instance,
I think that I mentioned. I'm sorry to cut across you, but I think you mentioned. I was reading up on this. You were a debate on Kilroy at one point.
Yeah. So I was only 39, and I wore a short, not mini, but just a short blue dress to the BAFTAs. And it was like all hell had broken loose. And Kilroy made a special. It was an Angara dress. They flew a copy in from Paris. Somebody would model it in the studio. Front pages everywhere. And the question wasn't, oh, does Carol look nice in a dress? It was, should a woman of 39 wear a dress above the knee? And all women of 39 now, and men of 39 go, what? Are you mad? Because we think about these stigmas as though they were only in existence in Victorian times, but they weren't. They were in my lifetime, and they still are here. So I spoke about the taboo of the menopause 10, 11 years ago, because I'd had hormonal depression with it. And when I did it, front page news again, because you weren't allowed to admit that you had problems. It was called the change, and women were meant to be embarrassed about it and apologize for it and all the symptoms. Well, this now is another form. So midlife is however you want to describe it. I am here to say it's the queen of numbers. It isn't a mathematical calculation, okay? Midlife is whenever you want it to be, in effect. But what I've found now in my 60s is that I live fearlessly. So that the MILF is midlife, or maturing, if you prefer to call it. It's about living fearlessly. And that is borne out in the research, which is this campaign with J.D. Williams, which I'm very happy to be a part of. And they conducted a lot of research with their customers. And what I would now describe as the old definition of MILF, the American Pie definition, if you like, is kind of split in thirds, really. A third of women would say it's a compliment, a third aren't bothered by it, and a third would say, oh, no, that's fine, crack on, And it's very interesting. In England, it's kind of split between the north and the south. Now, I'm a North Wales and northerner, really, in spirit. I lived in Leeds for a long time, grew up in North Wales. And we go, hey, that's fine, yeah, thanks. Whereas it causes more offence, generally, if you live down south. And that's what the figures have borne out. But really,
I'm intrigued to think of what the figures would be like here in Northern Ireland as well, in that sense.
It would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So what I hope with this campaign is that people think about midlife more. And, I'm not one to stand back, really. I'm quite happy to take on the abuse where it happens. But actually what's been reassuring through my life and now is that almost all women younger than me are there to support women of my age. There are things that we do now. Daughters now would happily go out or go away for a weekend with their mothers and not think even twice about it. Whereas for me and my mum, even though she lived with me all the time, you didn't do those things. A lot of women who are getting divorced as they're getting older are saying, no, I want to go solo traveling. It's an absolute... we've just got the stats for Northern...
There we go. The power of the interweb.
56% feel positive about the word MILF.
There we go. That's us good Northern Irish folk. There we go.
So one of the biggest booms in the travel industry is solo travel. Where a lot of people, it used to be Club 1830 and you'd be going out so you could get drunk. And, as you get older, you don't want to do all of that. You can't be bothered with it all. So A lot of people now go out. There are even whole cruise ships where people go and they go for solo travel. And it's not to cop off with someone else. It's because you enjoy your own company and you enjoy the company of other older adults. So, it is a thing and it will not be put back in the box. And that's why I'm very happy to be a part of this. I genuinely feel at the age of 65, I don't have the issues of, trying to get up at 6, answer 40 emails, take the kids to school, get them ready to school, go back to the house because they've forgotten something, then go back to school to deliver it, then go through all of that. We don't have all of that. We have a time, really, where we can think about what we want to do. And also you have this empowerment, really, Jim, where you go, no, I'm not doing that. That's not for me.
The one thing in that statement I am still surprised at, Carol, is that you're only opening 40 emails. I would imagine the voters would be getting more than 40 emails in a morning. I feel, I'm going to ask you this question. I feel you've kind of in a roundabout way already answered it. Now in 2026, compared to when you were talking about, when we mentioned there in the past there about with that incident at the BAFTAs, has the role of the media changed in that shape? In that, has now in 2026, is that narrative changed? You don't think if we're going to have the BAFTAs next month, we'll have the Oscars, etc.? I'm trying to think off the top of my head of an actor, TV personality walking the red carpet. I would like to think, as a pretty reasonable, I imagine, 43-year-old man who is probably still kind of very immature in his own little ways, but I don't think there would be, I'm trying to think of maybe this morning. I don't think there would be tomorrow. We would have a national discussion in that same way. You've talked there about women who led the way, and then now you're one of these group of women, these warriors that are leading that way, and you have led the way. So do you think in the media now, because it has such a big role to play in shaping narratives and discussions, the old water cooler talks, do you think it's changed for the better?
I think it's changed for the better. I think there's a long way to go, to be honest. And I think with social media, as we know, and particularly with all of the Grok debacle that happened in the last few weeks, which I'm sure you've discussed at length, social media has opened up, for good or bad, this torrent of abuse that can happen for, anonymously. But it's about when you get to your 60s, you don't give a monkeys. When I said that I was
very relieved you said monkeys, Carol. Very relieved. Very relieved. That's the mark of a professional presenter. There we go.
But I really, I knew being part of this campaign would attract a lot of abuse. But this is exactly part of the reason. When you get to this age, you live fearlessly. You go, I really don't care. You can drop friends who aren't really your friends at all. You think, and I don't care. And so many women I have spoken to, not just in my industry, but everywhere, they go, you just don't care anymore, really. So that's why it's good to discuss this. And if MILF means something to you, in terms of that living fabulously or fearlessly, I'm happier than probably I've ever been in my life now. And I live it as I want to live it, without apology. And I'm not harming a soul. In fact, quite the opposite.
So, Adam, that's my interview with Carol Vorderman.
It was quite brave of you not to immediately start the interview with, I'll take 2 from the top and 1 from the bottom.
No, I didn't go for that. But no, it was really interesting. And I have to say, from listening to, and I felt very self-conscious talking about it, because here's me, 43-year-old man, all right, lads. And I know, as much as we are silly boys, we try to be modern silly boys when we can. We all have our silly moments. Sydney Sweeney talking to you. But yeah, I was self-conscious, but I think she makes some really good points. And I know it's a bit of a tenuous link on a movie podcast, but hey, when we think of MILFs, we always think of Jennifer Coolidge and Stifler's mom. But anyway, right, that's that. So that's our chat. Listen to it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you very much, Carol, for coming on to the pod. Now we're going to move on and talk about a couple of reviews. First up, Adam, is a film I don't think you have seen, but I have, and that is Primate. If you have wanted to see a film with a rabid chimpanzee going berserk in Hawaii, Primate is the film for you. Before I get into talking about it, let's play a clip.
We're in Hawaii, baby!
This is crazy! This is home. There's someone I want you to meet. This is Ben.
My hand? He wants to shake my hand?
Yeah. Hi, Ben. Oh. Our mom rescued him, and now he's part of our family.
Ben, happy.
He's kind of cute.
Yeah, right?
Ben?
Did something bite him?
There's something wrong with Ben.
Hey, what happened? It's me, Lucy.
Lucy, bad.
Adam, what's wrong with Ben? What is wrong with Ben's got rabies? I think it's quite clear from the trailer when they make the point. It's like constantly in the trailer, there's something wrong with Ben. Yeah, there fucking is. He's got rabies. So I went into this and I want to get, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to take it, not an IMDb break. I just want to have IMDb in front of me because here we go. So this is, as I say, directed by Johannes Roberts, who, as we mentioned, I said 27, 47 meters below, the two installments. I think he did one of the Resident Evil films, or the attempt to kind of reboot that. So I'm not a massive fan of his work, but he is someone that knows what he's doing within the horror genre. And I quite like this. I mean, we have, thankfully, here a lot of practical effects, which is always good. I think that they will stand the test of time. But it is a man in a suit, but it's not like a rubber King Kong-esque thing. I don't have the name of the performer that is doing this, but he reminded me a lot. You know the performer in Alien who played the original Xenomorph? That kind of sense of, there we go, it's Miguel Torres Umba, and he just has this wonderful physicality about him. As I say, that kind of reminiscent of the Xenomorph in Alien, when we saw that. But here we have a group of friends. One of them is a daughter who's coming back to Hawaii to reconnect with her family, bring some friends with her. Her mum has sadly died, and she has been a bit remiss, went a bit not off the rails, but just kind of fallen away from the family circle. And they come home, and of course they then reveal to all their friends, oh, by the way, we have a pet monkey. And you've got wee Ben. And Ben's a lovely monkey. He's able to communicate, in that kind of, with the kind of buttons where he can kind of talk like hungry, friend. He can do all that. But unfortunately, he gets into a bit of a tussle with I think it's a wombat, I think. There's some that, and he's not right. And things quickly go wrong.
Is this a Cujo situation?
Yes, it's basically Cujo with a monkey. I think when I was going to look at my Letterboxd review, it's pretty much Cujo with a monkey, and it's fun, and I enjoyed it much more. You have Troy Katzer, Oscar-winning actor. If you wanted to see the Oscar-winning actor Troy Katzer punch a monkey, this is the film for you. And I know I'm being quite silly when I sell that. I'm going to give it, in terms of a quick thing, Adam, when I watched this, I really enjoyed it. I will come to my niggles with it, because I always have niggles. My lovely wife had a full-on panic attack watching this. She just it is tense, it's grisly, it's nasty, and I think I mentioned earlier on it's practical effects. So if you look at the BBFC kind of classification, you get jaws being ripped off. It's visual, and I come back to my rants in the past about like the Terrifier movies, how you shoot those, you can make them so tense and so kind of, you just sit there really uncomfortable. There's one sequence in particular with, there's a guy on a bed and little Ben jumps up on top of him. And as I say, he grabs his jaw. That's all we're going to say. And that is nasty. And I still think about that when you see that kind of stuff in Terrifier movies. It just comes down to your cinematographer, your editing. It's all there. And I know the directors talked about how the kind of classic 80s slashers were a big influence in there. So all for that. My problem with it is, for all the good set pieces, for all the solid performers, we have, as I said, Rokatzer. So we get in the stuff with sign language, and it doesn't feel crowbarred in, and it doesn't feel like it's just like a little, here we go, we're getting a little bit of representation. It works really well, because of course they've taught Ben sign language, and I was thinking of the likes, I think it's Project Nim. I'm trying to think of there is a documentary, there's a documentary, and then there's a very silly 80s movie with similar names. Both of them feature monkeys.
Is it? Fuck, I remember. Is it? It's not Primate, is it?
No, because Primate's a movie. No, but I think it's Project Nim. I think I'm going to say Project Nim. I'm not taking another IMDb break just yet. And the documentary, they talk about this, about how at the very, because like this is not me spoiling. At the start of the film, there's like a very nasty, grisly sequence with a vet and poor little Ben, and then it says 36 hours earlier, because anytime there's anything like that comes up on cinema, I have to go into the SpongeBob SquarePants voice. And so we know, and then there's a lot of like footage of how this is a real, there's real stories where this has happened. And I really liked it. As I say, my lovely wife had a full-on panic attack watching this. My niggle with it is this. It's fun until it's not. And then it's fun until we go from a rabid chimpanzee to suddenly a simian Michael Myers. And it just becomes like, right, this is not a rabid chimpanzee just on the loose on a frenzy. This is someone who's almost like toying with its prey. There's a sequence in a car with where Ben gets his hands on the remote for the car, the keys for the car, and it reminded me a bit in Scream, the first one, where you kind of see the boot opening. I know that's kind of classic horror stuff, but yeah, as much as I enjoyed that, and as I come back to that point, if you want to see an Oscar-winning actor punch a monkey in a film, this is the one for you. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but I just think there's parts of it you go, when I come back, you go, yeah, you've just kind of over-egged the pudding. But hey, if that's my niggle, I think on a Friday night, if you want to go, it's a good date movie. Maybe not if, you're trying to date someone from PETA. But yeah. But no, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and yeah. I mean, are you tempted by Primate? Is this kind of on the kind of Adam Neeson? I might give this a watch.
I had to look it up. I had to do the IMDb break while you're talking. The 80s movie I was thinking of was Primal Rage.
There we go. Yeah,
about the monkey that gets rabies. I just want to read the Amazon description of it. A university scientist inadvertently creates a rage virus while performing experiments on baboons to restore dead brain tissue. When a journalist breaks into the lab, he's bitten by one of the baboons. Soon, the virus goes viral, infecting, this is the sentence, infecting 3 rapists and a girl who all go on a killing spree.
Here, do you think Alex Garland read that or saw that film?
Yes, it's a movie that has been on my radar. It's funny that you say it's from the director of 47 Meters Down, the both of them, because my other half, Heidi, those are her favourite films.
Nobody's perfect, Adam.
I know, man. And she seen a trailer for this. She notoriously hates monkeys, won't watch Planet of the Apes or anything, because they're just like almost human, that she gets creeped out by them.
What about King Kong? Did you like King Kong?
I don't think so. I don't think we've ever delved it. I'd be like, here, do you want to watch the Jeff Bridges King Kong?
Curious George. What about Curious George?
No, I think she doesn't like it because of the curious aspect. She's like,
okay.
But we did see a trailer for this before Bone Temple, and it was one of those trailers where it was like, though it shows the audience rather than the film. Be like, oh Jesus, it's a monkey, mommy. And that sort of convinced her to be like, oh, looks scary. So I think, don't know if I'll make it a cinema trip. There's a bit too much coming out in the next sort of couple of weeks with Oscar-y stuff. And
do you know what, Adam? Do you know what I'm going to say? And I hate cutting across because I know we're doing remotely. I would recommend seeing this in the cinema if you can get this with an audience, because it's a horror film that works with an audience. I think watching at home is great, but I'm going to say, like, say for instance, that sequence in Bring Her Back, the workshop sequence, watching that with an audience and hearing people like, and just sensing a room of people getting really uncomfortable with something. There's that in Primate. As I say, there's great sequences. There's a lot of start early on where they're in like a swimming pool, and of course rabies, you develop a fear of water, and that's quite clever in how they do that. And you go, oh, is the whole film going to be set here? It loses its energy and gusto when it's like, we have to get into the house. And then, as I say, Ben becomes like a Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. And I know the directors kind of cited those as examples and reference point, as I mentioned. But I would recommend, I know it's Oscar season, we like to be highbrow. Mate, it's a rabid monkey on the loose.
You're saying I should skip Is This Thing On and go see Primate instead?
Yeah.
I mean, is it scarier than the ape sequence in Nope?
Imagine that sequence, but stretched out.
I don't think you could take that a good or a bad way.
Yeah, it's a really good reference, and I never thought of that actually when I was watching it, because I mean, I loved Nope when it came out, and that as a sequence actually kind of reminds me kind of just how much that creeped me out. And again, I was glad I saw that in the cinema and not at home, because you can't just be like, when you watch something at home, be like, no, hit pause, nope. gonna go back and watch more trailers. You're stuck there. The only thing you can really do is actively just get up out of your seat and go, or do what my lovely wife does. Anytime there's anything creepy, we go to see a horror film. She kind of knows the cues now with the soundtrack, and she's like, what are you doing? She's just looking into the floor. Just waiting to get it over with. We did that. She did that a lot during Weapons. But yes, I genuinely, I know I'll always champion the big screen experience, but I would suggest seeking Primate out. If you just, even, not just you, Adam, but anyone watching, go see it in the cinema. You'll have more fun with Primate than you will with Melania. There, the doctor. There we go. It's in cinemas. Cineworld, I believe, is showing it here in Belfast. I think it's just one night, and then I think it's going to be going on Amazon Prime. I'm sure Cineworld was bunged for people wanting to see that. But the thing is, Adam, people will go see it.
And ironically, that monkey's killed less people.
Moving swiftly on. Okay, so that is Primate. That's out in cinemas now. Very quickly, I know we featured this on the TV show as well. I got a chance. I can't believe it's that time already when the Japan Foundation Touring Film Programme goes across the UK, including here in Northern Ireland, QFT in Belfast. And the lovely Junko Takakawa, who's one of the programmers and has been very much one of the key core programmers on this showcase. I got a chance. It's the third year now we've chatted about it. And I think it's a fab thing. I always say, and I think I bring this up in the interview, never, if you're listening to this, don't get put off by the inch-high barrier of world cinema. Just go for it. And this year, looking at the programme, it looks a bit more eclectic. There's some horrors. Now, not all the titles are screening in the same city, but in some of them you will be getting directors. We'll touch on this. And as I say, we're just going to play a clip of one of the films that's screening at the QFT. And then we will get into my interview with Junko.
一発の銃弾を拾うと 殺し屋の霊が取り付いた。
So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined now by Junko Takakawa. I think this is the third time now, Junko, we have spoke over Zoom. At some point we will get to meet in person. But as always, I can't believe it's that time of year again. We are talking about the Japan touring film program. For anyone who has missed our previous chat, before we talk about some of the films that are going to be screening across the UK, hundreds of screenings, but more importantly for us, it's here in Belfast at the QFT. Tell us a little bit about the Japan touring film program.
Yes, I can't believe it. It's, as you said, that it's been a year since that we spoke to you last time. The Japan Foundation Touring Film Program was set up actually by me almost like 23 years ago. So don't actually assume my age. And it actually... Never. She started off with a very small sort of, selection, small venues, but it's grown from strength to strength. Currently, we have 34 cinemas in the UK for this year's version. And then QFT has been our great partner for a long time. I always value Queen's Film Theatre because they are so sympathetic with this program and also enthusiastic. So I'm glad to have that QFT once again for our tour. It's actually the largest touring film program solely focusing on Japan. You can't have that similar sort of program anywhere else in the UK. So if you have, you shouldn't miss this opportunity. And certainly, even as only selected, titles are screened at QFT, but you should actually come and watch it.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a great program you have lined up this year. There's something for everyone. And I always say no one should allow themselves to be put off by the high barrier of world cinema, of subtitles. And, Junko, I noticed this year as I was looking through, there's quite a few, as someone who also programs a horror film festival here in Belfast, we've got some horror titles. So there is something there for everyone. I've noticed there's the likes of Missing Child Videotape. We have Ghost Killer, The Man Who Failed to Die. You have my money for my tickets already. But talk us through just some of the program. I know we always say at this stage, Junko, we can't go through every single title. But talk us through. I've mentioned a few there, and I always say, I know it's Sophie's choice. Throw even some maybe of the titles that are screening that you are particularly fond of or proud to be included within this year's program.
Yeah, all right. Okay, maybe I should focus on as a screening at QFT or in honor of the QFT. I mean, obviously, I really like Sham. It's not because that's directed by the Takashi Miike, very famous name you can imagine, but it's because it's a sincere, honest depiction of the social issues currently existing in Japan, in the relationship between the parents and teachers. And then also the image can be created by other people's, fake sort of, malintention. That's actually one of the main theme of the Sham. And also it's based on the real story. Actually happening in Japan. And it's just because of his, in the hand of the Takashi Miike, it's made a fascinating entertainment film, not just, serious social sort of elements in it, but also the entertaining in a way that you can watch it to enjoy. And also, another film that I would recommend is, of course, director coming to QFT, Adabana. That is a little bit tricky, I have to admit. It may be not for everyone. However, this film, you should watch it on a big screen. If you watch it on a small screen or PC or iPhone, it doesn't, do the justice for this film. It's beautifully choreographed, artistic work. And then it actually tells that the director's background is actually art student in back then. It's beautiful. I guarantee you enjoy mesmerizing the artistic work on the screen. And also it actually predicts our near future regarding that creation of clone and facing your clone and then, posing a question. Am I real, or which sort of clone is a better person than I am, or all sort of questions posing upon this film. So I would, strongly recommend. Also, if you come to that screening, you have a chance to meet the director, and then ask your own question onto her. She's one of the female directors, you should watch out for. So.
Hey, and very intriguing. And just on that note, not just here in Belfast, but across the UK, how important for you is it to have not all, but some of those filmmakers been able to make those screenings to engage not only with audiences, but also local filmmakers in that area to share ideas and hopefully inspire some of them as well.
Yeah, indeed. Coming to the cinema is very important. Given that many people may actually opt for that watching the films online, but one thing probably you will miss out is the engagement. Engagement in not just an engagement in the cinema, but also engagement with other people, other audience. Because I quite often encounter the situation where that things I didn't notice when I watched on that tiny screen on the screeners, but when I actually attend that, watching together with the audience, there are certain parts that I didn't laugh, but other people laughed. Also, the other people scared off, and I didn't think that it's really powerful, or all sort of things that you can actually feel from different audience. That is really interesting and important social interaction. And then also, as I said, like at the banner, that filmmaker made the film for the sake of big screen. So that I think in honor of that filmmakers, you should come to see that cinema and enjoy as they intended to be honest.
Uncle, you're speaking to the converted. You are preaching to the converted, and I completely agree with everything you say. Nothing beat, for me anyway, going to the cinema and watching something with an audience, particularly you've mentioned there, watching a horror film that works really well, a comedy that works well, you just can't beat it. So as I say, you are preaching to the converted. Now, as we say, we are going to have to let you go. You are a busy person, but you've mentioned the 34 cities. The program is being screened at with various titles. For anyone watching here in Belfast or across the UK, because we of course are online, where can they find out more information about what titles are screening locally to them?
www.jpf-film.org.uk.
Fantastic. Junko, pleasure as always. I look forward to being surprised when I get an email this time next year that I can't believe it's been 12 months since we last spoke.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Junko.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you again. Thank you.
So that's my interview with Junko Takakawa. As I say, check out QFT's website here in Belfast. It's going to be running from February through to March. I think there's 8 films. I know I mentioned it in the interview. It's been a couple of days since I recorded that. There's going to be 8 films or so. There will be some directors here in Belfast. So well worth seeking out. Now, Adam, I know we're going to be wrapping up shortly. We are going to do this thing. We're going to look back at a cult classic. We talked about Sam Raimi this week because of course, next week we're going to have Raimi back kind of horror territory, kind of maybe more thriller territory, but with the lovely Rachel McAdams, with Send Help. I'm really looking forward to this. And as Dylan O'Brien is the other actor in it as well, you'll know from The Maze Runner. It looks fun. It looks in the same way like Primate. Just something I think, enjoy yourself at the cinema and sit back and relax. We'll play a little clip from the trailer from Send Help, and then we're going to get into the cult classic that we've picked as we look back at some of Sam Raimi's back catalogue.
I'm going to be frank with you. You are smart. I know that you are great with numbers, but I just don't think you got it. As an executive, I see no value in you. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, what?
You know we have the Bangkok merger coming up. Prove me wrong. Oh, Linda, before you go, I forgot to mention I've received a few complaints about you.
Complaints?
Noxious odors.
Oh, God.
Take your seats. You're a little bitch.
Look who's trying to land of the living.
How long?
You been out? Day and a half?
Have you tried making a distress signal or a bigger fire?
I was busy trying to keep us alive.
But getting us out of here, that should be your focus, not being Susie Homemaker over here.
What did you just say to me?
Let's not forget, I'm your boss. You work for me.
We're not in the office anymore, Bradley.
So that's a clip of Send Help. Adam, you talked about going through all of Sam Raimi's back catalogue as much as we can. I just thought, well, let's kind of bottle it because we'll just end up talking about how much we love Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, and other Raimi films. I know you're a massive fan of Oz, the Great and Good, and the Spider-Man films. We kind of did a podcast before, which took us many, many goes.
But we didn't talk about Darkman.
We didn't talk about Darkman, and maybe you're upset that we didn't talk about Darkman. So what is the title we have agreed we're gonna talk about, albeit briefly, but you're gonna lead in this.
We're gonna talk about 2009's Drag Me to Hell.
Mr. Jax, I was wondering if you'd made any decision regarding the assistant manager's position.
It's between Stu and yourself.
Stu Rubin, the new guy?
Stu's someone who's not afraid to make the tough decisions.
I'm perfectly capable of making the tough decisions.
I'll let you know as soon as I decide, okay?
Will you help me? Please.
Okay. We have an elderly woman asking for an extension on her mortgage payment. We would have to throw her out of her house.
We've already granted her 2 extensions. It's a tough decision. Your call.
Another extension is out of the question.
Where will I live?
I'm really sorry.
Never have I begged for anything, but now I humble myself
Mrs.
before
Dennis,
you.
please.
I beg you.
Please let go. Please let go. Security!
You shame me.
A movie that is was PG-13 when it came out. I think it was a 15 over here, so everybody was sort of like, how's it going to be scary if it's, it's not an 18 or a rated R? And then Sam Raimi was like, hold my beer, and showed sort of everybody that horror could be both disgusting and silly, the same way he did with the Evil Dead movies. This movie starts with let me just pull up the
exorcism.
An exorcism in Spain. It starts off with a loan officer called Christine Brown, who is trying to get a promotion in her job, and all of a sudden a old lady walks in. I don't think we can call her Gypsy, but I'll say it. Walks in and is like, please give me a loan. And she's like, oh no, my boss.
Adam, just to cut across, she sounds a bit like Melania Trump.
She says, please, I love my husband, wink. And she's like,
please.
She's like, I can't give you a loan. My boss says no. It's the guy from Lost, and he says you can't have it. And the old lady sort of falls over and rips off one of Christine's buttons on her jacket and curses it. And then she has 7 days to sort of to try and figure out and reverse this curse.
It's not like The Ring at all. Not like The Ring
not
at all.
At all. Otherwise, she's going to get dragged to hell, as the title suggests. And what you get is some of the wackiest, campiest, an eyeball turning up in a cake, a talking goat, some of the craziest visual effects you'll see from that era of horror movies. And it's just a lot of fun. People sort of poo-poo it, and it has like one of the best endings of a movie of all time. It delivers on its title. Also includes Justin Long, who is like a stealth actor with the horror franchise. It seems to be anytime Justin Long turns up in a horror movie, you're like, oh, this is going to be good.
I wanted to mention this. I love Justin Long. I think he's such an underrated performer. I love him when he kind of shows up, and I know he's kind of now probably like working a lot with Kevin Smith. I've seen him kind of in a few kind of things, and didn't I see him only because I was going through a bit of a Kevin Smith back catalogue? Doesn't he pop up in Zack and Mary Make a Porno with a cameo? Or am I getting the films mixed up?
No, he is. He plays the same character in that, and then he plays the same character in Jay and Silent Bob Get Old? Reboot? Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. He's very funny in that. Because he sort of plays like a gay stereotype dude. But it is quite funny. Yeah, he is a guy that, like, you know, turned up in Barbarian and sort of was like, holy shit, fucking, where's Justin Long been for all these years? Whereas he's been in like all these weird horror movies over the years, and he's great. He could do anything, really. I think he delivers one of the best performances in Dodgeball, like physical comedy wise. When he gets hit with a wrench in the head and his head flings back, it's so fucking funny.
Funny, I rewatched Dodgeball not so long ago because my lovely wife and I, we were looking at, I think Netflix, it's like a new category, 90-minute comedies, and Dodgeball popped up, and it's like, oh, I forgot how much I love this. And Steve the Pirate. Steve the Pirate or Pete the Pirate? Steve the Pirate. Arr.
Steve the Pirate. Arr.
Is it Alan? It's Alan. Sure, I can never say his surname. Tudyk. Tudyk, that's the one.
Like two dicks.
I do love Dodgeball, but yeah, I love Justin Long, and it's like, oh, between watching this and then watching a few other films recently, it's like, as I say, Dodgeball, when he pops up. I also just want to give, you've mentioned, isn't it Lorna Raver is the old woman? She is fab in this.
No, it's Bonnie Andrews. Sorry.
Yes.
The girl that plays the nun.
Yes, apologies. It's yeah, the old woman in this is fab. She keeps coming up. I can't remember if it was on this podcast or if it was just generally chatting. What I love about Sam Raimi, and it's the same way a few other kind of particularly Asian horror filmmakers, they find kind of beauty in horror. Now, stick with me, right? There's a sequence in this involving hanky or a napkin and a car being caught in the wind, and it's fab, and it's just so. I will say this: watching the film for the first time in a long time, some of the visual effects do not stand the test of time. Some of them do. You mentioned like there's the sequence with the eye and the cake, and there's the bit with the talking goat. There's the bit, as I mentioned, with the floating napkin hanky. Of course, you've got Raimi's car, his dad's car, popping up prominently in this. Sadly, no Bruce Campbell. This is, I think, one of the few films that doesn't have a Bruce Campbell cameo. But that sequence, watching it on the TV, it comes back to what I mentioned early on with like Primate. I remember watching that in the cinema, and there's a sequence, and it's just all it is. It's simple. It's the camera, and you just watch this napkin. And it's that idea of, it's the old kind of magic trick, misdirection. What are you looking at? What are you not looking at? And then suddenly the two meet and remembering how well that sequence worked with an audience. There's a bit of like kind of hands going down mouths, and and then there's a couple of eye popping sequences don't work well. They haven't aged well, but it's a lot of fun. The actress Alison Lohman,
yes,
she goes full kind of Bruce Campbell in this. She has that kind of transformation, and by the time that film ends, or pretty much near its finale, where she's in a grave, basically with her button trying to ram something down a deceased corpse's mouth. It's a lot of fun, and I was glad to watch it. So where do you put this within Raimi's back catalogue? So this is kind of post, I think he made this after Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
I just wondered, the way we always get was like you hear people talk about with the Coen brothers. I know they don't work together anymore, but it's like they do their serious film or they do their film for the studio, and it's like, this is a project that's good for you. Go off and do that. The way like someone like Chris Nolan now is like, I want to make this project. Okay, you've done, The Dark Knight. Go off and do this. There's a bit of money. Go off and do you want. I just wonder, particularly Spider-Man 3, that seemed to have such a problematic production and was so bloated, and Raimi's talked about kind of the various ideas, and there was going to be Spider-Man 4. It was or wasn't going to happen. And I know he's kind of talked recently about like, I'm done. I don't really want to go back with Spider-Man, but hey, Andrew Garfield said he wasn't going to be in the last Spider-Man movie, so Sam Raimi won't trust you. Do you wonder if it's just a case of like from him, and I think he's working with Ivan, his brother, they co-wrote the script, and I think it's been one of those, I think it's an IMDb fact, I don't have it in front of me, I think they had worked on that idea for a while and then finally came back around. But do you think this was just like right time? I've just done this big studio film, I just want to go off and do like the Evil Dead stuff again.
Yeah, I think it was sort of a palate cleanser, because after that he sort of takes a break, is brought back with Oz the Great and Powerful because he loved The Wizard of Oz so much, and then after that there's sort of like a 10-year gap between that and Doctor Strange. But if I want to run down my order of Sam Raimi filmography, let's do it. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Drag Me to Hell, Crime Wave, A Simple Plan, For the Love of the Game, Spider-Man 3, The Gift, Oz the Great and the Powerful.
Oh, it's a bit harsh on Oz. The Gift is one. I was looking back and I was like, I haven't watched that film in a long time. And when I was looking back through this, I was like, I want to go back and watch Raimi films. You're like, I don't want to watch the Evil Dead movies again. I watched a few of them over Halloween. It's January, but The Gift is one of those, because that's Kate Blanchett and Tom's ex,
Keanu Reeves, Giovanni Ribisi.
Yes, his Tom Cruise's famous ex, Keanu Reeves.
Kitty Holmes.
Yes.
Yes. I also fucked up. I would have put above Crime Wave. I would have put Darkman, Quick and the Dead, and then Darkman.
Funny, someone at work was talking about Darkman. I think it was Errol, who's the station manager. He loves his horror, and he's kind of just threw Darkman on not so long ago. And he was. I didn't realize there's been umpteen Darkman sequels. Obviously, without everyone's favorite son, not son from Ballymena, not sadly the lovely Danny, but Liam, and not your uncle, of course. But I didn't realize that there was so many Darkman sequels.
Liam agreed not to do it because he got into a Kosh type incident. But would do the Oz, Great and the Powerful, and then Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Where Send Help will end up on the list, hopefully high. I sort of have heard great things about it. I heard Edgar Wright highly recommended earlier today on X.
Okay, so we've got that to look forward to. We will review that next week. I guess, on the pod. We'll be talking about that, and we'll get to pick a cult classic that'll be tied into another release. Now, Adam, we are pretty much going to wrap up now, but it's time to play the game that the nation, dare I say, social media is not talking about, but they should.
I heard that Trump actually stopped a press meeting in between his snaps to be like, have you guys heard about this Letterboxing game? It's sick.
It's sick. It's sick. Just like me. It's sick. I know, that's terrible. So last week it was you. Now I've picked a movie.
Yeah.
Which is themed of kind of some of the films that we've discussed this week. And I'm just looking in. I've got the film and I've got it up in front of me, but I'm just wondering. Here we go. So, because you always say, like, you need to have a clue. Like, my favorite one is so far, how many films could you get from this per review in Letterboxd? Garbage, smiley face. What is this? Smiley face. And then here we go. Watch this for an essay I'm writing on about how films depict the natural world as a force of evil, when the reality is that humans deplete the earth, and this trope stems from the disconnection of the people and the planet put in place by colonialism.
I think I know what it is.
You think you know what it is?
I don't want to spoil the game quite yet. I'm gonna write down on this piece of paper. Where are we? I know this is an audio medium, but I'm going to write down this piece of paper, and then I'll reveal the piece of paper. So this is me giving my one answer.
Okay.
I'm putting all my cards on the table with this one. This one. Okay. Okay. I've written it.
I'm going to pick. Is he going to pick up the first points of the right? Okay. The way that nothing happened in almost 2 hours. Here is another film where you could go. How many films could you get from this, Adam? A very racist film. I hear you're a racist now. Fuck this movie. That's another one I quite like. All right, here we go, Hiko. Maybe they were trying to. I think this gives it away. Maybe they were trying to emulate the success of movies like Jurassic Park. Obviously, they didn't. Are you worried now you might not have got this right?
I might have fucked it.
Right, and I've just came out of the review section. So are you gonna put a guess? Are you gonna put your? Do you want a good review, or do you want? Okay, here we go. Here's a 3-star review.
Right.
I remain a fan of such merciless silliness, especially when it has this movie's Irwin Allen-esque charms. You can blame this for not being as convincing or as exciting as Jurassic Park, but why would you want to when it's this?
Right. I've got here's my guess I wrote down.
Right. Is it a one? How many words is this film's title?
2.
Oh,
right. But now I need to think of. I can't remember the name of the film I'm thinking of, but I know the actress. Right. I'll not even look it up. So what I wrote in the piece of paper was The Happening.
No,
not that. Right. So I've lost. Now the film I'm thinking of, can't remember the name of it, but it does star mother of the star of Jurassic Park, Laura Dern's mother, Diane Lane. Is that her name?
I'm not sure. I need the letterbox. I need to go into IMDb and find out. Do you want me to give you a letterbox review that'll probably give you this? Because I'm always cautious when we get to this. Are you accepting defeat? Because we haven't really clarified the rules for this game. How many guesses are we giving each other? So I didn't get it last week.
I think once you get up to like 4 stars and the reviews are basically like Jeff Goldblum's good in it, it's basically like that's it over.
I'm not gonna lie, Adam. I don't think I've seen a 4-star review
Jurassic
for this film.
Park. No.
Here we go. Ernie Hudson jumps out of a plane while hugging a talking gorilla.
Oh, is it fucking... is it Congo?
It's Congo!
Yay!
There we go. So, who knows? It's next week. It's back to you. Will I be able to get some points on the board with the Letterboxing League table? Letterboxed, if you're watching, we are up for sponsorship for this feature. So yeah, I think that is kind of us. Adam, I can't think of anything else. It's been a full pod from everything from Carol Vorderman. We've been talking to Junko Takakawa. We've talked about Primate. We talked a bit about Drag Me to Hell as well. And finishing, of course, with the game that the nation is not talking about. That is letterboxing. So you've more of that to enjoy next week. Of course, Adam, you're also available on Outer Rim Rambling. Anything exciting since we last spoke?
We talked to Tate Fletcher, who plays Faz. He's a Mandalorian. He's one of the big Mandalorian that fucking what do you call him? That Jon Favreau plays, that voices.
Yes.
We talked to him. He's in Gen V, and do you remember in John Wick when he goes into the nightclub and he holds a guy's head down and he shoots him in the head, and the guy has like a beard and like a funny mustache?
Yeah.
Him. Yeah. I want to throw something at you. We haven't discussed it offline, but we'll say it on. You can feel free to cut it out if this doesn't work. Next week, Disney Plus, February 4th, The Muppet Show returns.
Hey, have you heard who's going to be on as one of the guests?
Wow.
There's Sydney Sweeney is, up there as one true loves. Sabrina Carpenter, you'll do.
So, next week's podcast, I have Sir Kermit the Frog on my t-shirt right now. Next week's podcast, just because it's our podcast and we can fucking talk about what we want, we'll talk about a cult classic, but also the Muppets.
Yeah, I think in terms of we're going to do if we're going to do a Muppets, I think we should talk about the Muppets episode, but also talk about Muppets Most Wanted, the most underappreciated installment within the Muppets franchise of all time, and purely also because earlier today when I was walking around Oma, because I was waiting for my mum getting her haircut, I decided on Spotify, if you of course want to sponsor us, I was listening to the soundtrack to that film. I'm number one. You're number
doing
two.
A sequel. We're back by popular demand.
I just love that song when you have, isn't it, Ralph's? And Ralph's, and then it's a dog that sees something horrible, and then he has to live with it, not telling anybody. You're like, nah. Brilliant. So there we go. I'm more than happy to talk about that. Who doesn't love a bit of Muppets action, especially when we have Sabrina Carpenter? I'm just glad to see the Muppets back. And I sent the lovely Victoria Brown this little TikTok. Should have sent it to you as well, Adam, because as you'll know, I have an issue. It's my only issue with that I'm just going to have to accept, I have to get over with New Muppets, Kermit's voice.
Yeah, he was on Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know if you've seen, and it was you sort of go, can I accept this? And at some point, I probably will, but maybe during the special he'll win me over. But so far, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, he didn't win me over with the Muppets Haunted Mansion. But yes, on that note, I'm happy to talk about the Muppets next week, by all means. I think we will wrap this podcast up. So, Adam, thank you very much, as always, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for listening. Find our podcast wherever you get your podcasting fix. Leave us a nice review because it helps with the algorithm. And, of course, subscribe. So, yes, all the best. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye.